Right. I saw the message that we're live. Yeah. Let's dance a bit. I like that. Hey, everybody. The
There we
Ethereum
go.
dance.
There we go. There we
There
go.
we go. Nice.
Yeah. It's not a party till everyone's dancing.
Yeah. I still have pending to do the Ethereum dance that Scroll Tax was doing. I
Yeah,
know we've
that
seen it around with,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe one day IRL. But
Yeah.
yeah, super excited to have you all here on this live stream about Octant Epoch 8. Some of 4 projects are with us here. Build Guild, Veridium, Remix, and Ethers.js. Um, Incredible tools for Ethereum builders to keep building on the ecosystem, tools, apps, and everything in between protocols. So yeah, excited to chat today, and I think we can start with a quick round of intros. I can start with myself and then kick it around. I'm Nico, doing community at Octant. And for those who don't know, Octant is funding the Ethereum ecosystem now on Epoch 8 through staking rewards that we have from the Golden Foundation. And we're slowly transitioning into V2, that is allowing other ecosystems to also stake and leverage DeFi to fund their ecosystems with the yield that they generate, and at the same time fund Ethereum. And these are sort of kind of test rounds for how this will work as well in the future with what we call the Ethereum Sustainability Fund. And yeah, that's on my side. Would love to hear. Let's start maybe with Remix. Quick intro, and if you would like to share something, share quickly your screen. You have a couple minutes to show the people here a quick demo of your tool, if you like.
Okay. Well, first I'll start out with a quick intro. I'm Rob Stupe. I've been DevRel at Remix for 8 years. The project's been running for 10 years. And just a couple weeks ago, we spun out of the EF. So now we're our own public good. And EF will be matching any public goods donations to Remix. So we're excited about our new pathway forwards. Um, and so we have 700,000 active monthly users and 33,000 daily deployments and 5,600 deployments to public networks from all over the world. And yeah, from or way up in Africa and the global south and Southeast Asia and South Asia as well. So here's a little, where's my screen share? Present, share screen, share screen. And it should be, yeah, okay. So in case you don't know Remix, this is Remix. So once you get here, you could watch some videos about Remix or Solidity. You could also watch some, do some Learneth tutorials. So there are tutorials inside of Remix so you can get up to speed on Remix, Solidity, or going through different kind of contracts and different protocols as well. But usually like people come here and they want to like play around with some contracts. Primarily Remix is used for learning and for prototyping, but people also just use it for quick deployments. So like here's a contract, and then someone would compile it. And then once they compile it, they can run some analysis tools on it, or they can deploy it to our local VM. And then everything in Remix starts out as being like a click, point and click, like you click, something happens. So it's a very visual tool. And so you can select one of these addresses. This is just for the sake of this demo. So like we just did a transaction on the local chain, and then we're gonna go into the debugger just so I could show you, like, you're a beginner, but you hear all the
Can you
stuff about
guys?
opcodes.
I don't think we can see your screen, Rob.
Oh, that sucks.
I know. There's like, you got to present and then they have to put you on screen. So like maybe you're sharing, but they haven't put you on screen yet. There we go. Now it's happening. Now we got you. We got you now.
Oh, thanks. Okay. Wow. Okay. I don't know if I should bother going backwards, but here, we just launched the debugger. So you're like a beginner, you're playing around with some code, but what's all this stuff about gas? And you click through in the debugger, and on this panel, you can see like opcodes. And over here, you can see the gas usage. And you get a sense of like, like S load, that's 2100 gas. Oh, swap1, that's 3 gas. You can get a sense of what's going on at a very deep level, or just get to know like, what the variable is that you are loading in that part of the function. And let's go back to deploy over here. So after you deploy it to a public network, which you can use a browser wallet, or you could use a Wallet Connect, or you could use a node provider, and you can get access to any kind of chains specs through the chainlist.org link over here. Then you can verify your contract on 4 different services at once. Well, that's the Learneth one, which we just did. There's all sorts of, there's a rich ecosystem of plugins over here. What else? Oh yeah, so also like you can have a URL like this one up here where it says GitHub folder. So it's great for teachers, so they can put a folder of contracts up on GitHub and give their students this, and then it will open up in GitHub. It will come into a workspace like this one, and then like this is just some random contract, but you could come over here to the AI and it'll explain the contract. So what's coming up in Remix is we're about to release Remix Desktop so that you could download your compilers and then you can work offline. And then there's going to be in the AI tool, you can be able to choose, the LLM that you like, Mistral or Anthropic or OpenAI. And then we're going to be, and also in desktop, you can work offline. You have access to the native terminal. So that's a kind of quick intro.
Amazing. Yes. Thank you, Rob. Super cool. I remember I've attended a bunch of ETH Global hackathons and always see these being introduced to new developers as well. So super cool. And I think speaking of new developers, might be good to hear from Austin about Build Guild.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Similar to Remix, we kind of lean into prototyping and tinkering at first. Let me share a window here. Let's see, how about this one here? How's that? You got me there? Can we throw that up? There we go. All right. So Scaffold ETH 2 is kind of our base tool, and that tool helps you tinker around and then deploy to production. I just fired up an instance of Scaffold ETH 2, and I've opened it up with Cursor, and I'm telling it to build me a voting app that asks how the vibe is. And I'm just letting it work away here. It looks like it's already written a contract for me. Scaffold ETH comes with like a cursor rule. So we're really kind of leaning into AI and setting it up so you can easily kind of vibe code one shot your app to production. One cool thing about Scaffold ETH is it, similar to Remix, has this nice debug page where everything from your contract is here. Oh boy, I killed it. Actually, the AI killed it. It's trying to run front end and everything. Once it gets done building it, it tries to do a whole bunch of things. Let me bring that back up. But you can kind of tinker with your smart contract is kind of the goal here, where once you have your contract up locally. You can start adding things to it and tinker around with it. It comes with a placeholder contract, but then you quickly can iterate on that and add new things to it, like this voting system that I didn't write, Claude wrote for me just now. But there we go. Yeah, so it gives me even a front end, right? So going back to the debug contracts real quick, there's, vote bad, vote good, how many votes we have. We can see the contract and how much money is in it, whether or not an address is voted. Maybe I could copy that address and paste it in. I noticed these, like, a lot of nice UI elements. If I put in an ENS name, it's going to resolve that ENS name and give me a nice blocky with it. Speaking of good UX, like, we also have burner wallets here, or browser wallets, where you can just grab money from the faucet and you can click, click, click. If I want to vote good or bad, I could just click on this, and it's not going to, prompt me to sign a message or anything. It's just going to have a nice, quick signed message. But I can't share this yet. What I would have to do is do a yarn deploy and send this off into production. And then I would do a yarn vercel and send the app up. But within, 20, 30 minutes, you can prompt something in Cursor. You can have a contract written. You can have a front end written. You can yarn deploy your contract. You can yarn vercel your front end, or even yarn IPFS your front end. And that will take it to BG IPFS. And so we have like a pinner ready to go, and it will deploy your contract to IPFS for you. And you'll have like basically a production app in 20, 30 minutes with a good prompt to Cursor. I've done this with this. I'm just going to vote good. And yeah, hopefully the vibes, there we go. The vibes are good. One vote for Scaffold ETH. We do have a list of extensions. One of our most popular ones is the Ponder extension. Usually when you build an app, the first thing you realize is I can't parse events in my front end, and it falls apart with scalability. So we do have some extensions here, and the Ponder one is probably the one you want to grab first. But a lot of things, how to build is pretty easy. Once you figure out the syntax, a good builder can figure out how to build very fast. It's figuring out what to build that's really hard. And that's where Speedrun Ethereum comes in. We take you through a whole bunch of things that give you these aha moments of what to build and what works, including a lot of things that have product market fit, like over-collateralized lending, prediction markets, stable coins, multi-sigs, layer twos, all of that. So check out Speedrun Ethereum, check out Scaffold ETH. That's the shill. Shill. Thank you for having me.
Amazing. Thanks, Austin. And this live stream is for shilling, so don't be afraid of keep shilling your stuff. I mean, especially you all that are building really amazing stuff and have the foundation for building on Ethereum. I mean, it would be a shame not to allow you all to shill. And now that we've seen kind of like the front-facing stuff, would love to hear from Rick about Ethers.js. Diving
Hello.
into the background. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Perfect.
Awesome. So yes, my name is Richard. I go by Rick Moo online. Ethers is almost 10 years old now, so not quite as old as Remix, but it's catching up. I mean, so yes, my demo, I don't really have a demo per se. It's basically Ethers is a backend library that's used by a lot of other things. But you probably use it every day if you use Ethereum. If you've used MetaMask, that's using Ethers.js. If you use ZK Sync or you use like Etherscan, like these are all things that are powered by Ethers.js under the hood on some level doing something or other. One thing I can kind of quickly show, let me try, quick random, like the obligatory like stats that seem to excite people. I'm not a big fan of stats in general, but I think I get 3.4 million downloads weekly right now from NPM. That said, I don't really consider those metrics that useful. That also doesn't include all the MetaMask downloads, for example. Like MetaMask doesn't download from NPM. They vend it all in. Same with the ZK Sync. They vend it all in. Even Web3.js had Ethers as a dependency. And, I put a lot of effort in to make sure that they could use it directly without having to pump up Ethers stats so that they can keep their own stats separate and isolated. So let me figure out how to share my screen. Uh-oh, I have a feeling I'm going to have to, let's see. So let me, is there a way to share the entire screen? There we go. Haha. Share. That way I can just share everything at once. Okay. So yeah, sorry, my desktop is very busy. So I have like one window back here that I just brought up quickly. So these are like tools built on top of Ethers. This isn't Ethers itself. This is just demonstrating some of the things it can do. So you can like, you can like create a new wallet. You can like sign messages. You can verify messages. I mean, just anything you can do with Ethereum, you can do with Ethers. It's just meant, so this is like a quick little tool. Like sometimes you just want to take the kcheck 256 of like something, or you want to take the kcheck 256 of a string. I don't know the target audience if you're that really technical sided or whether you're more in the like consumer side, but these are some quick examples. One other, and I guess I'm a big fan of dog fooding. So I really wrote Ethers for me, by me. So I use it for everything. So here's like the things I've been working the last few days. I'm not sure if people know my other project, but this is like the Firefly hardware wallet. And so you can, oh, it's not working right now. What's going on? So for example, like I can listen to this, connect over here. So this is also all powered by Ethers.js. They found the address. It's like able to send transactions. Demo-wise, I don't know what really specifically to share. Any suggestions are welcome. But it's just kind of it's a very low-level library designed for doing anything Ethereum for developers.
That's great, Rick. I think this is showing enough. I mean, saying how many of the things we use every day on Ethereum have Ethers.js in the background. I think it's fantastic to hear. And yeah, if you're a developer, you know of Ethers.js for sure. And if you don't, like definitely check it out. Super key piece for building on Ethereum. So thank you for sharing that, Rick. And last but not least, Ramana, would love to hear from Veridium as well.
Hi, yeah, thanks, Nico. Thanks for having me here. So I'm going to talk about Veridium, which is the newest project here by far, and the least developed as a result. We're very getting started. So Veridium is the main project that I'm working on, and it's only like a year or two that I've been going at it part-time. And the point of Veridium is to do formal verification of Ethereum applications. So formal verification means that we're proving correctness in logic using mathematical logic to verify that smart contracts have the properties that we want them to have. And we're doing this in trustless. We're building the formal models in logic from the ground up. And the plan is to be able to prove a theorem about a smart contract's bytecode, the EVM bytecode, and prove that it has the properties that you want it to have as a theorem in higher order logic. So it's kind of the most high assurance thing that you can do for your contract, and also the most expressive language in which you can write properties. So kind of like any functional correctness property that you might want to say about your contract. Like if we want to say that no matter what transactions are going through the network, this contract never loses its balance. Like the funds in this contract will stay protected no matter what we throw at it, unless, and then use that for like the funds are supposed to be released, like unless there exists a signature from this signer with this data. Otherwise, like whatever an attacker might do on the network won't be able to get the funds out. And that's just an example of the kind of thing that you could express in logic. So as far as demo goes, I can show, I think I can just show you like website and the code that we've got so far, but there's no, since we're still very early, there's no tooling or like kind of live demo to show, but I think it's still useful to see a little bit about what it looks like. So let me pull that up.
Yes, for sure. And
Right.
your audio sounds a little bit, it's cracking a little bit, but I think we've heard you
I hope I'm still
fine enough. We
understandable.
understood
Sorry
everything.
about that.
Yeah, no worries, but just so
Okay.
you know.
I'm getting the same from others. I think it's just my laptop's not holding up on the load.
Okay. Cool.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, it's now being shared.
Okay, here. This is just the front page for Veridium, veridium.org. That goes into a bit more detail of what I was speaking about what the project is. One thing I wanted to show is our progress on the Ethereum execution spec tests. So like the headline number there is that we're passing 98.2% of the test suite for Cancun at the moment, and we have work underway to enroll this Ethereum hardcore, which is Prague, but it's live on the network. And another thing I was going to show you like what the code looks in our logic.
Oh,
So,
now we're
yeah,
losing you, Ramana. Sorry. Can you hear us all right?
Yeah, I can hear you, but it sounds like maybe the screen share is too much.
Maybe we heard the first part all right, but the second part was a little bit cut up.
Hello, can you hear me?
Cool. Cool.
Yeah, I think maybe the screen
Thanks for sharing.
share was a bit too ambitious for my current setup.
A little bit
so
broken, but
let me just say that you can check out GitHub and have a look
cool.
at
No, but
what
I
we've got
think
there. What
we
we've got there at the
managed to
moment
see a little bit.
is a formal model of the Ethereum virtual machine in hierarchical logic. And I've also been working on formal verification of the Vyper smart contract language. So if anyone has been writing smart contracts in Vyper, we have work underway to be able to speak about the semantics of those contracts formally and for doing a formally verified compiler for Vyper. So taking the Vyper compiler that produces EVM bytecode and basically finding and removing all of its bugs. So that's a longer term project. That's why we're here, to kind of get the funding that's required to make that kind of work happen. I'll leave it there. Happy to take questions.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing. And yeah, this is super important for security, as you mentioned. And speaking of Vyper, maybe like a bit of a plug. We had a live stream the other day with programming languages on Ethereum. We had Solidity, we had Vyper, we had Faye, and yeah, looking forward to this is where all these things come together. I guess when we see builders using all these tools and all these things together to make our ecosystem and the tools that we use. So would love to transition now to a few questions that would, I think, be interesting to hear about building on Ethereum in general, but also about your projects. And anyone who's listening right now, feel free to drop your questions as well. We are reading all of them, and we can see if we answer some of your questions in the chat as well. So maybe to start off, what are some of pieces of software or projects that you're proud to say were built using your tool? I guess this goes more for the first three, as Veridium is still underway, but would love to hear, maybe start with Remix.
Before Rob
artistic.
starts, I'm just going to give a plug for Ethers.js. I mean, we wouldn't be here without Ethers.js. So Remix having been built on Ethers.js is pretty impressive to me. But Rob.
Yeah. I just learned that Morpho, the DeFi protocol, was first coded and deployed from Remix. But basically, like, there's so many projects that start as a prototype in Remix, then they tend to move on to other tools. But it's like it's a big hackathon tool. So people are coming up with the ideas and just getting the proof of concept going here. There was one time I was at a Chainlink conference and I walked into this room and there was this Solidity competition going on between like 5 contestants, and they were using Remix as the tool of choice for those kind of competitions as well. So
that's amazing. Yeah, and
that's the same for us too. We don't really like track, like everything is just like open source and MIT licensed, and people take it and use it. And it's almost like Rob said, where we hear later on from a DeFi founder, like, oh yeah, I got started with Remix or with Scaffold ETH and it was like helpful for me. But we don't like have our hooks in anybody. We don't collect emails. We don't know like and it's funny because probably the people that make the most money are the most private about it. So we hear less and less from the most successful people. I think really Rickmu's going to be the belle of the ball here in terms of stuff that's been used in production. He's able to name drop like MetaMask and some of those. So I think that like that's the big one. We're like more like prototyping and getting you started. And you can take Scaffold ETH to production, but the people who do don't tell us about it, and that's too bad.
I was actually going to say, I use Remix, like, like, it's awesome that you're using me and I'm using you. Like, I love this like feedback flywheel thing. I mean, anytime people open an issue on Ether saying like this contract does the wrong thing or whatever, I'm using Remix to deploy it to see what's going on and to like kind of like debug their issues. All the test contracts from the Ethers test suite, I mean, they're sitting in my Remix IDE right now. Like, yeah.
and
I
in
feel like
Remix, we can swap back and forth between different versions of Ethers too. So it's even
also a very useful feature I did not even know about that would be useful when people are saying like such and such is a bug. How do I fix it? It'd be nice if I could demonstrate that it exists in an old version and not the current one. Or
show you.
Yeah, definitely.
I think maybe that's a very cool question, actually. What are some interesting features that you are currently working on, or anything that you're currently building that you're excited about? I want to start with that, Ramana. Maybe there's a bit of delay. Remix?
Yeah. Well, we're about to release Remix Desktop next week. Or it should be next week. And it's so that's going to be great for people who have unstable internet or want to work offline and want to use the power of their hard drive and don't want to bother with browser storage, all that sort of issues. Then we're doing also a release about upgrading our AI so you can choose what language model to use. We're going to be supporting more account abstraction and graphic interfaces for that. And we're going to be doing more multi-chain interaction projects as well.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm most excited about, the interoperability that we're heading toward as independent from EF, building a lot more integrations with partners that, want the user base that we're offering, especially Global South user base and emerging use cases coming out of there. So that's what I'm excited about.
Amazing. What about you, Rick?
So, I mean, for me, Ethers is meant to be like a foundational thing. So new features is a very broad term. So obviously getting account abstraction as like a first-class citizen. And so Ethers is like a collection of things. So there's like Ethers.js, which is what everyone's like super familiar with. But there's also like Ethers.Objective-C. That's something I haven't touched in a while. My real baby that I love is Ethers.C for those that are like low-level like embedded systems programmers. And so that's something I've been like kind of touching up a lot lately for Firefly, that open source hardware wallet. But the cool thing about C is it, so I haven't announced this to anyone yet. So this is kind of like, I guess you're getting the preview of like my new little baby I've been working with is, so C compiles through Wasm using Emscripten. So like there'll be like an ethers.wasm. It's only about 8 times faster than like JavaScript, which I don't think is like a huge benefit in terms of like choosing Wasm over JavaScript. I mean, if you're using JavaScript, it's not for the performance. But the really cool thing is you can make it a lot smaller. Wasm itself is much larger than JavaScript, but Wasm also has like really custom cool like compressibility. So I'm hoping to have like the whole kit and caboodle kind of as a very concise, smaller Wasm package. So that's kind of my like little upcoming exciting feature that I mean, whenever I run the bench test, it's so all over the map. Like it'll be 3 times faster in Node and 8 times faster in Chrome and 16 times faster in Safari. Like it's just all over the map. So I'm not exactly sure that it's going to make a lot of sense for most people, but it's just like another option that I'm kind of excited to get out and poke at. So
Super cool. Thanks for sharing. What about Build Guild, Austin? What are you cooking?
Yeah. Well, I think we're cooking a lot more like education and pre-acceleration, kind of working on the pipeline and the metrics. I think that like once these tools are solid, we should stop adding things to them and quit adding more and more things. Like make the tool do what it needs to do. I think there is a case for, you know, every 6 months you need to refresh and stay up to date with the latest EIPs that have been merged in and things. But Scaffold ETH is, you know, slowing way down. We're going to componentize more things and make things more modular, so it's easier. We hear people say that they'd like to use like Shad CDN or something else for their front end, and we were a little bit too opinionated on some of those front end libraries. So we're kind of tearing that back and making that more extensible. But really, like Scaffold ETH will do basically what it does for the rest of time. You know, we're not going to need to add too much more to it, just kind of keep up with the latest standards. But yeah, the biggest things that we're doing other than componentizing Scaffold ETH is working on like your Ethereum profile and working on what things have product market fit right now and how can we help teach folks about that, and things like, you know, what kinds of, even like Web 2.5 things, like what kinds of things are industry leaders needing in terms of prototypes? Like I need a stablecoin microtransaction streaming prototype so I can show it to my boss so I can sell him on blockchain, you know? So little things like that where we're building prototypes and little pieces of education and little challenges. We'll probably work on a big CTF and a game leading up to Dev Connect, so watch for us there. But yeah, the tool is slowing down on purpose.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
I was gonna say, I recently got reminded of like the Unix philosophy, which is like do one thing and do it well. So
yeah, absolutely, totally agree, and excited. It's really impressive to see all these everything that you guys are building coming to that point of maturity as well. That just means a lot for the current state of the Ethereum ecosystem, which is like, yeah, just makes me really excited about Ethereum in general. And hopefully we're gonna see Veridium there as well. I don't know, Ramana, if you can hear us now and you can share about what you're exciting. What I mean, the main launch should come when?
Yep. I hope you can hear me. I'm sorry that there was this this problem with the audio, but hopefully it's okay.
We hear you fine. Maybe try without the camera. Maybe that works a little bit better.
Yeah, I'll try it without the camera. That might work better. Well, let's see how it goes now. So launch-wise, I don't think we don't have like a roadmap or a particular date in mind. It's more dependent on collaborators and funding. But I can tell you what is currently being worked on. So my focus at the moment is actually the Vyper semantics. So I'm working with the Vyper team and trying to get a formal model of Vyper down so that we can use that as the basis for prototyping a verified compiler. And we'll need to maybe get grants to work on that. But if we do, then yeah, that'll be the next big thing. But on the Ethereum side itself, there's certainly a few like directions that are also being pursued. So there's finishing off the precompiles, which is what will push us over that 98% up to 100% conformance with the Ethereum execution spec tests, and then doing the upgrade to Prague and then to Osaka. So there's, as Austin was saying, there's a steady stream of EIPs coming in from the Ethereum hard forks, and just keeping up to date with that so that we have a formal model of the latest version of the network. And then so the Vyper thing is like to do verified compilation of smart contracts. But there's an alternative approach to verifying smart contracts, which is independent of the language that they're written in, where you would verify the EVM bytecode directly. And that approach is called decompilation. The way that would work, that you take the EVM bytecode and you decompile it into more and more high-level functional specifications of what that bytecode is doing. And each step of action is verified in the theorem prover, so that you know that the reasoning that you do at the high level ultimately applies to the code that's actually deployed on chain. So there's this decompilation approach, which is currently just a research prototype sketch. So that's also like fleshing that out and making it work is the other main direction that I think we would like to do in Veridium. So.
That's amazing. That sounds like big brain stuff. I would love to be better at math to understand everything that's happening there, but I feel it's out of my capacity. So yeah, really excited to see how it plays out. I mean, we've seen the GMX hack yesterday, for example. So all these things are really crucial for security and making sure the user funds are safe, and the people are not falling into, I don't know, well, that the contracts are doing what they're supposed to and not introducing any vulnerabilities there. And we mentioned a little bit about all the EIPs. I mean, we've seen that the Ethereum Foundation has now, I feel, shift gears, and things are moving a lot quicker in a different pace. And again, I think everyone is super excited about that. But that also comes, I guess, maybe with a bit of a price of like, it was already hard to keep up with the state of the ecosystem. And you all mentioned yeah, like you pretty much need to introduce all the EIPs that come in with every upgrade, and I can imagine that there's some amount of work that comes with every upgrade and adding that. I would love to hear from you, like personally, or like from your project, how is it been to keep up, but also if you have talked to builders, like how are they keeping up with all the advances that Ethereum has at this pace. Let's start with Remix again.
I mean, it seems like a lot of devs are just watching a lot of videos from conferences, either attending or just, online, watching them, and a lot of video courses that way as well. But then there's like these like new pop-up cities where people are actually spending a few weeks learning. Yeah, I mean, from our point of view as well, like since we're this graphic tool, like coming up with like what should be the interface for EIP 7702, like where you're connecting a EOA, a smart contract account to some, like smart contract account to the smart contract over here. Like, how does that look like? How does that interface educate users about what's going on? So it's a kind of nice educational point for us and for our users as we integrate the tools.
It was pretty fun also, like to come with a sort of like visual way to showcase all these things. So pretty cool. What about you, Austin? How do you keep up?
I think, yeah. I mean, it's super hard to keep up. I think that like crypto Twitter is a cesspool, and crypto in general is a cesspool. But also, you gotta pay attention to it. It's kind of like maybe your drunk uncle at the holidays. Like he has a bit of wisdom, but you want to kind of stay at arm's length away from him. It's the same kind of thing. I think you got to watch crypto Twitter and figure out what's going on and what are the latest EIPs and how are people using them. I think we're at this inflection point though where we're shifting to AI, and most people are using AI more and more, and it's more about like I'm going to go to ChatGPT and talk to ChatGPT about the thing that I want to build and kind of work backwards from that and work backwards from that information. So it's kind of up to GPT to kind of fill in the latest standards. When I say I want to make a voting app, I want it to just basically understand that it probably wants to use, whatever the EIP standard is for batch transactions or something like that. If I'm going to be sending a token around as a vote, I want it to do the approve and the transfer all in one. I don't want to even know about what the EIP is. It's 5 something something something. But most of the guys on a call know this, but I don't. And so it's coming to that though. At this new time, it's more like we're leaning against AI to kind of know this stuff. And so this stuff needs to be published, and the AI needs to be able to crawl it. And we need to go to crypto Twitter and be nudging people to, make sure you're adopting 7702. Make sure you're adopting this 5.7 something something standard for batch transactions. But knowing them deeply is probably not going to happen as much. And I think there's kind of this, I think it was Nuno at ETH.org that said this first, but there's kind of this shift of archetypes where builders and developers used to be one single thing. And I think that's shifting now. And we have builders that are vibe coding a DeSci app in an afternoon, and we have developers, and the hardcore developers are like the folks here on the call. They're building tools still, and they're making it really easy to build using AI. Like the hardcore developers are building things like Scaffold ETH and the cursor rules that help us build things. But then the builders are taking that off the shelf and one-shotting apps with it. So I think as those archetypes get farther apart, the difference in how we learn and keep up will be different. But I'm leaning more and more toward the builder side, and I'm doing more vibe coding, and I'm counting on AI to kind of keep up with the trends.
Super cool. And then to be honest, I resonate, I think, with that as well. I'm not a technical person as well. So I was afraid of going to hackathons like, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago. And then I got like really used to, because there's actually a lot of non-technical people who attend, and more every time also with like vibe coding and all these AI tools. But indeed, one of the things I think that gave me an edge in a way was to kind of know the ecosystem well, like know what is the latest, what can be applied where and so on, and like maybe giving some of that info there. So yeah, there's definitely value in keeping up, I think, and also in simplifying, as you mentioned. So super cool to hear that. And shout out to everyone who is writing messages in the chat. We love to see your interactions there, and hope you're enjoying the stream as much as I am, this conversation. Let's go with you, Rick. How do you keep up? What do you think of this?
I mean, so absolutely, there's so many EIPs going on, and it's so funny because the people who like an EIP, they just assume it's such common knowledge. Like even at ECC last week, some website was like, "Oh, so with EIP 5.5 again, like 5.5 something something," they're like, and then they just like spout off like, "What do you think of this?" And I'm like, "I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, I need a little more context." And then when they explain, like, "Okay, I kind of heard something about that." I would say the biggest source for me of like learning about new EIPs though is when people like open an issue saying, again, I'm at a hackathon, and Sepolia currently has this new feature that's being launched in the next hard fork. How do I use it like in Ethers? And I'm like, oh, okay, give me a couple hours. and then like, you know, that you need to make them a special branch because you're still kind of experimenting with things. But really, it's the people. I agree. Crypto Twitter has like, it's fallen to the curbside, man. It is depressing. I can't even. I mean, I honestly like for mental. I'm not a mental health like aficionado or anything, but I had to stop like paying attention to Twitter for quite a while. It was getting so toxic. So yeah, I rely a lot on just like random people messaging me saying like, I mean, I remember 7702 at the time it was 3074. Like people just wanted like a little like it wasn't the exact same EIP, but they had this like this feature was being announced was going into the next hard fork, and so somebody at a hackathon wanted to use it, and so you know it's just like pasting together a little bit of goo for them to like a higher level API that they could paste into their code for the hackathon purposes. Yeah, I mean, I really rely on the community to kind of like let me know. Obviously, I see a few things, but there are so many things. I mean, speak of the devil about like, I don't know, 4 minutes ago, somebody said GMX hack, and I'm like, oh, that's something I need to add to my list of things to look at today. There's just so much. It's a good question. I mean, kind of luck, I guess, that these things come across your desk before they go live. So if anyone has a good solution, a modern Ethereum or something, please let me know. But otherwise, it's yeah, it's random. I have no good answer, is what I'm trying to say, I guess.
I mean, I think like the most I got from your answer is that when it needs to be in front of you, it will be in front of you in some way or another, which is a great approach, you know, like a very Buddhist or like a peaceful approach, I guess, without entering into the cesspool of crypto Twitter, as Austin said. But Ramana, what about you? I mean, and what implications do all these upgrades have with verifying contracts?
Yeah, I think it's a really good question and actually a really good discussion point. I had a few things to say about this. So, like, just to answer the question, like, what do I use to keep track of things? There's a lot of different sources, but a lot of the good sources are coming actually from the Ethereum Foundation. There's also, I used evm.codes, which is an independent website that has a lot of information on the EVM itself. I did have to fall back on the Ethereum execution spec in Python, which is maintained by the Ethereum Foundation, as a source of truth of like what is actually the EVM now and with the next upgrade. And there's a website that the Ethereum Foundation put out called Forkcast, which is slowly being populated with information about what new EIPs are coming online. And I think like that stuff's really good. But I think what other people were answering, I was thinking we here like on this call, and I think, you know, across the whole Epoch, across all of the developers in Ethereum, have built so many cool things, and a lot of like institutional knowledge, a lot of kind of open source libraries and infrastructure that depends on some kernel of stability in Ethereum, and that it would be a mistake, I think, to prioritize changing that too quickly or too much. I mean, I think people sometimes get excited about like, oh, I want to get an EIP in, or I want to change Ethereum in this way or that way. Like, you know, you just have an idea, and then you can see one good use for it, and you're like, okay, now we have to change the whole machine to be like to also spend some time paying heed to the things that we have built and the things that we're building. And how those gains compound over time, the more and more that we build on top, and not changing the grass underneath it, changing the sand underneath us. So I think that's a good kind of to excitement at the piece, is to also remember that like there is a lot of value in Ethereum that comes from stability. And that's particularly to answer your last question, that's particularly relevant to me doing security and doing formal verification, because formal verification is expensive, it takes a long time, and it requires a lot of infrastructure. And the more that you can rely on an unchained target, like if you're dealing with immutable contracts, if you're dealing with a machine that's not changing its definition every 3 minutes, but like it kind of changes every 6 months these days. At least usually it's additions as opposed to changing the fundamentals. But if you're dealing with something stable, then it's way more worthwhile to make the investment to say like, yes, I am going to model this thing in full detail. I am going to understand it in full depth to be able to write like a deep expressive correctness theorem. And it's going to be worth doing that, because even if it takes me 6 to 12 months to do it, the thing I have at the end is still going to be valuable. It's still going to be, it's going to have like decades of use after that. So I think that's the perspective that I take on this, and that's the voice that I'd want to be heard alongside the frantic, kind of hectic environment of crypto Twitter.
Yeah, no, and I think this is maybe probably resonated with the rest here, because this is one of my takeaways from this conversation is actually like appreciating this stability and like understanding that once things are mature enough, it's better if they stay a little bit more static than continuously moving, right? Like at least just find the right balance. And yeah, as you mentioned, like for security, that is extremely important. So very, very interesting to hear that as well. We have a question here from the chat. Let me see if we can put it up here. What everyone doesn't, I guess, is why everyone doesn't just keep a database of all the URLs and have their AI scan them all and send notifications for the most important updates that could affect your work. Is this maybe
Good
for
idea?
you?
Thumbs up.
Actually,
Make an MCP.
we were going to be doing a partnership with Rect to go through their database. Yeah, so it was to get some context of hacks. But yeah, it's a good idea.
I think it's a good idea, but I think I also want to say like AI is not always correct. Like you're going to have a false positive rate there, and it's got to be tuned correctly before it's actually saving you work as opposed to creating more.
There's also something to be said for like, I don't need to know everything right away. I feel there's like this like important things kind of like congeal over time and percolate to the top. If I was always paying attention to all the important things that all the places I care about talk about, I would. It's like it'd be like doom scrolling all over again, just for like technical real world things as opposed to cute kittens and like snakes attacking praying mantises. So.
Yeah, no, makes sense. All right, I think we are almost at the top of the hour, so just want to thank you for this amazing conversation we've had. I had so many more questions that I would have loved to go through, but the entire builder ecosystem and like the tools that you guys are doing to help them are incredible. So yeah, I think we could talk about this for hours, but I also want to give you all the opportunity to say some final remarks and say goodbye to your audience, maybe do a little bit more shilling. As you know, like these projects are going to participate in Epoch 8. So yeah, I hope you get some good alpha and get motivated to vote for them when the allocation window starts, which is just a few hours away. So yeah, let's start with Remix again.
Hey, Andy, you want to go?
Yeah, I'll just start by saying this has been great to just hang out with all of you guys and learn more about what's going on in each of these projects. I haven't had the opportunity yet in Epoch 8, and I think these kinds of events in Epoch in what Octant's doing is just an awesome way to get people together. And I saw somebody earlier saying I like the collabtition vibe going on here, and I think that's what really is going to drive everybody forward, essentially. So yeah, exactly.
Awesome, thank you. Austin?
My usual shield, go speedrun Ethereum. V1 just launched while we were on this call of Create ETH, which is kind of like the next iteration of Scaffold ETH 2. It's more of you do npx create -ETH, and it just like gives you a couple of questions and boom, you have the whole thing ready to go. It launched while we were on the call. I didn't even know it was happening. It's out now. So check out Create ETH, go to scaffoldeth.io, Google Scaffold ETH or Speedrun Ethereum. But most important, start putting stuff on chain. Quit messing with these test nets. If you're just deploy it to an L2 with some sensible limits on it and put it out there and get it on good infrastructure and start building things that people use on chain. There's so many developers that are just like staying low and staying quiet. I did it too. Don't do it. Get up, build things, show them off. It's so important. Go do it. Go build things that people use on chain.
Let's go. Whoops. Rick?
I was going to say, I don't really have as much to really say either. I don't have any closing arguments, I don't think, or anything. But just my standard, like, Dade Murphy's Hack the Planet. It's like, just do stuff. It doesn't hurt to do stuff. Vibe coding is interesting. I have not bit the bullet yet, but I know there's lots of people out there who are doing it. If you do something cool, send it along. Hack the Planet. That's all I've got.
Let's go. And Ramana?
Yeah, my final words, I think we picked up a little bit of the Buddhist vibe on this call, I think. I really appreciate thank you all for being here. It's been really great talking with you. And I want to pick up on that and say, like, it's very exciting to be working in Ethereum. But we can also remember that Ethereum is a long-term project and it's for the whole world. And take a step back and remember what you're doing, and that it's really worth it. And then, when it comes to formal verification, Veridium, come check us out, veridium.org. Very happy to have you come join our chat and get involved, looking for collaborators, looking to push the project out. And if you want to write formally verified contracts in the future, hopefully you'll be writing them in Vyper with a formally verified compiler.
Amazing. Thank you again for being here. Beautiful last messages that you all sent. Check out their tools, especially if you're builders on Ethereum or even want to get started. Like this is the right place. And excited to see this evolve even more. And good luck everyone on the allocation window. Have a great day. Thanks to everyone who has been watching us as well and sending your questions. We really appreciate you. And as you know, we will be doing more of these live streams with a lot of the Epoch 8 projects, so don't miss them. We have pretty exciting lineup and interesting topics that are highly relevant for Ethereum. So let's go. Thanks everybody. Have a good one.
Thanks, Nico.